G'day. Welcome, my friend, to WTK, the What to Know Show. I'm your host, Peter Whalen, and this episode is about advertising job openings. I've worked in IT, information technology, for over 30 years. I hire computer programmers, systems engineers, and marketing staff. And have you ever applied for a job that looked like an ideal match for you and then never heard back? One time, I posted for a developer and I got over 200 resumes in just 2 days. Most of the applicants were not at all qualified. The good applicants got buried in a sea of bad applicants. So what I wish I knew then is that a lot of people aren't reading the job postings before they apply. There had to be a better way, and that's why I recorded this show. We're looking for people who usually get the details right. What happens when a marketer doesn't pay attention to detail? Well, you get brochures with the company name spelled wrong phone numbers or websites, and then it's repeated in 30,000 copies. I wish I was making up my examples, but these mistakes are actually made. It's unprofessional and it's costly. What happens when a systems engineer doesn't pay attention to detail? A typo in a DNS entry can disable access to your email and website for hours. It's disruptive and stressful. When a programmer doesn't pay attention to detail, the compiler will catch it. I'm kidding. A typo can change the logic of a program from true to false and be very difficult to find. Now, we all make mistakes. It's not about being perfect. You may be watching this because someone I trained linked to this video in a job posting. So if so, congratulations. You've already set yourself above the other applicants. We call this the Van Halen test. Van Halen is a rock band who were mocked for their behavior in the Spinal Tap movie. Van Halen required promoters to provide a big bowl of M&Ms backstage. Nothing horrible about that. Lots of people like M&Ms. I'd like to have a bowl of M&Ms in my contract. But Van Halen demanded the removal of all brown M&Ms. That's crazy. M&Ms all taste the same, regardless of the color. So when I heard this, I thought they were just needlessly making people jump through hoops. They even wrote a song called Jump. And it looked like an abuse of power. And maybe it was. But on the other hand, there may be a good reason for doing that. And can you guess what it is? I'll give you a clue. How you do anything is how you do everything. Why would Van Halen demand the removal of all brown M&Ms? Well, there are hundreds of details to get right when setting up a rock and roll show. And it would be a huge job to go through and double check that every bolt had been tightened, every scaffold and light was rigged properly. Performers and stagehands have been injured and killed due to the details not being handled. So Van Halen had a unique stage and it had to be set up correctly. Now can you guess why Van Halen insisted on no brown M&Ms? Well, the answer is that removal of those M&Ms proved that the concert promoter had paid attention to that silly little detail. And if the promoter got that silly little detail right, then they probably got hundreds of the important details right. How you do anything is how you do everything. In our version of the Van Halen test, we ask you to report your typing speed. In our business, in IT, we type all day long, so we ought to be good at it. So please take a minute to go to typingtest.com. I'll provide a link in the show notes, and typingtest.com will help you increase your speed if you choose to do that. In the first line of your cover sheet, include your error-adjusted speed. And it just takes us 2 seconds to cut the people who miss this detail. On a recent posting, we eliminated 75 applicants. So that gives us more time to focus on desirable applicants like yourself. And don't worry if you have a slow typing speed, so does Stephen Hawking. What we're testing here is that you read our job posting and follow directions. You've watched this far, which means that you'll probably read our documentation and our emails, because how you do anything is how you do everything. Would you believe that some people read only the first line of your email? Can I tell you another story? It's from a New York Times article about a phishing email attack. I'll include a link to the full story in the show notes. What I want you to focus on is this email. This is a legitimate email. Would you stop reading at that point? He goes on to write, John needs to change his password immediately and ensure that two-factor authentication is turned on his account. It is absolutely imperative that this is done ASAP, as soon as possible. He even provides the correct link to make the password change. Are you pondering what I'm pondering? What system administrator is going to tell you to change your password because you received a good email? I'm certain what he meant to say was, this is not a legitimate email. It would have been more clear if Charles had first written, you've been targeted with a dangerous phishing email. Don't click on any of the links, and then all the rest. I think it's because they didn't read past the first line. The phishing email was treated as legitimate. John Podesta unwittingly gave his hackers his Gmail password, which gave the hackers access to a treasure trove of his confidential email, which led to embarrassing the Clinton campaign because those emails were posted on WikiLeaks, which led to the humiliation of the Clinton campaign, which led to the resignation of the chairwoman and a few top aides of the Democratic National Convention, which some would argue contributed to Clinton losing the presidential election, which led to Donald Trump being president. And who knows where that will lead. So details do matter. That's why we ask your typing speed. Good luck in your job search. Feel free to link to this video when you're hiring. I guarantee you that it will save you a lot of time and help you find good people to work with. Thank you for watching. Bye.
That's fairly interesting. This is the What to Know Show with your host, Peter Weyland.